Okay, Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to you Akim out there that has been pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. I'm going to call this one a plot and a prayer. This one is going to be called a plot and a prayer. So without further ado, I'm going to get into these scriptures. It says, Jeremiah chapter 18, verse 18. Then said they, come. Who was they? The wicked men of Israel during the time of Jeremiah. Then said they, come, and let us devise devices against Jeremiah, for the Lord shall not perish from the priest, nor counsel from the wise, nor the word from the prophet. Come and let us smite him with the tongue, and let us not give heed to any of his words. Now, if you fed the same thing that was going on, the same men that was devising and plotting against Jeremiah, them same wicked souls are back today, plotting against the men of Israel, the men of the Lord in this day and age, man. Started with the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Because you get on your comment boards and you talk hella shit. You get on your comment boards and you scoff and you scorn. You're bear false witness. You're calling us pedophiles, rapists, child molesters. You're calling us all kind of grievous and fucked up words, man. Excuse my French. Excuse my literature. You'll get online on your keyboard drinking your scoffy, you know, and talk shit and devise all kind of wicked devices against the men of the Lord. The same thing that was going on back in the time of Jeremiah. It's happening now, man. It says, give heed, give heed to me, O Lord, and hearken to the voice of them that contend with me. Now this is Jeremiah, because he heard that all the wicked devices that the sons of Israel in this time was devising against him, because he was speaking the truth. He was telling them what was going to come down the pike, man. He was telling them on what they should do in order to live, man. But they was forsaking the words of Jeremiah, consider him a false prophet, or whatever they was considering him, because they didn't like the words he was speaking. So they wanted to kill him. They was plotting against him. If you fast forward to the day and age we live in now, 2020, year of prophecy, these scoffers and scorners don't like what we are saying, man. So they plot against us. If they could put hands on us, they will put hands on us, man. So now here's the prayer that now the plot was, here's the plot. The plot is the wicked men of Israel is plotting to do Jeremiah much harm because he's bringing out the truth, cutting them with the scriptures. So the plot is we're going to devise devices against him, whether it's to put him to death, to lock his ass up, in which Zedekiah, king of Israel, did, man. Zedekiah locked Jeremiah up and told one of his men to keep him here until I come back safely. Because Jeremiah was prophesizing all kind of things that was going to happen to Zedekiah, king of Israel, man. There was during the time of the siege of the Babylonian Empire, when Nebuchadnezzar was coming up against Zedekiah, because Zedekiah was put up as a puppet ruler, but he started bucking up against Nebuchadnezzar. So Nebuchadnezzar was like, hey, listen, what, man, I'm going to take you out of that power seat in which I put you in, man. So Jeremiah was locked in a prison due to orders of Zedekiah, and Zedekiah told his men to keep him here until I come back safely. Then Jeremiah replied, if you come back safely, then I'm not a man of the Lord, man. You're not coming back. And what happened? Zedekiah was fleeing the armies of Nebuchadnezzar and him and his sons, and what happened? He got locked up in the prison, but the last thing that Zedekiah saw was his sons getting put to death before the Babylonian king ordered the eyes of Zedekiah to be put out and him locked up in the prison for the rest of his days. So the last thing Zedekiah saw was his son's eyes being put out. It's like the last thing Zedekiah saw was his sons being put to death before his eyes was put out. So that was the plot. Here's the prayer. And this prayer stands to this very day. Because Jeremiah, after he found out how Israel was plotting against him, he put curses up on them, man. And we're going to read the curses right now. The plot was, I'm going to read the plot one more time, then I'm going to go to the curses, the prayers, which is the curse that Jeremiah was asking the Most High to put upon the people that was plotting against him. It says, the plot. Then said they, the wicked men of Israel, come and let us devise devices against Jeremiah, for the Lord shall not perish from the priests. He was telling them, the priest is doing wickedly. The Lord's going to perish out of the land, and you're going to go forth into captivity. He was telling them that, man. Nor counsel from the wise, nor the word from the prophet. Come and let us smite him, which means to kill him, with the tongue, and let us not give heed to any of his words. Man, let's smite him, scourge him with the tongue, lock his ass up, beat the shit out of him. And if we keep on continuing to teach, we're going to kill him. And let's not give heed to any of his words, man. When Jeremiah found out of the plot, here comes the prayer. Jeremiah chapter 18, verse 19. Give heed to me, O Lord Yahweh, and hearken to the voice of them that contend with me. Hear the voice of them that contend with me. Jeremiah is asking the Most High to give heed unto him and to hearken unto the voice of them that contend with him, meaning listen to the plot and hear what they're saying against me, man, and all the wickedness that they devising against me. Salakia, it says, shall evil be recompensed for good? I'm bringing them good tidings, man. I'm telling them what they need to do in order for them to live, man. Hey, the Most High set up Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon. Don't go up against him, man. Don't lean on the staff of Egypt, because Egypt is going to be taken out of his power seat, man. Do the hands of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, man. Or Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. Watch, the Most High put him up. Daniel 4:17, the Most High ruled from the kingdom of men and set up whom he will. Roughly paraphrasing it, man. So who was in the power seat at this time, in this day and age? Nebuchadnezzar, man. Or Nebuchadnezzar. And they was bucking up against the words that, the words that Jeremiah was speaking was the words of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah, not his own words. So they wasn't taking heed. So this is part of the prayer. Shall evil be recompensed for good? For they have digged a pit for my soul. They have dug a pit for Jeremiah's soul, man. Real quick. Hold on real quick. Let me hold this off real quick. And let me just bring this out if I could, Baba Kashah. Just bear with me real quick. This is Ecclesiastes in the Bible, chapter 10, verse 8. He that diggeth a pit shall fall into it, and whosoever breaketh a hedge, a serpent shall bite him. So, the wicked men of Israel was digging a pit for Jeremiah, not knowing that they themselves was going to fall in that pit. So back to Jeremiah chapter 18, verse 20. Shall evil be recompensed for good? For they have digged a pit for me, for my soul. Remember that I stood before thee to speak good for them and to turn away thy wrath from them. But they didn't want to hear it, man. He stood before them through the words. He was bringing the words of Yahweh. While Yahweh shouting to the sons of Israel in that time, which is our forefathers. We are our forefathers coming back. So therefore, if you fast forward to this day and age, man, the very same souls that was back there plotting against Jeremiah is the very same souls that's coming up against the apostles, the elders, and the men of Great Millstone that's out here teaching 100% truth, man. Getting on your comment board, scoffing and scorning, calling us pedophiles, calling us rapists, calling us child molesters, man. Demonizing the name of Israel, the men of the Lord. These are the very same spirit that's coming back, man. But guess what? The very same curses the very same prayer, which was curses that was put upon the sons of Israel, the wicked 2/3, stands to this day. It says, remember that I stood before thee to speak good for them and to turn away thy wrath from them. What's the wrath of the Most High? The sons of Israel going into captivity under the hands of the Babylonian king. Fast forward to this day and age. The sons of Israel being put to death, going into captivity under the hands of Esau, concentration camps, detention centers, being put to death by teeth of wild beasts, pestilence, famine, race wars. It says, therefore, deliver up their children to the famine, a lack of food, and which was approaching, vastly approaching the land of America, and pour out their blood by the force of the sword. Race wars, getting shot down by police, UN troops, Gurkha troops, pursuant to Ezekiel, the 21st chapter, the 9th verse on down. Pursuant to Jeremiah, the 15th chapter, the 1st verse on down to the 3rd verse, man. It says, therefore deliver up their children to the famine and pour out their blood by the force of the sword, and let their wives be bereaved of their children. And we see that now in this day and age, man. Women being bereaved of their children. Why? They're getting put down by another wicked niggas such as themselves, being gangbangers, police shooting them down. And be widows. Let their men be put to death. Let their young men be slain by the sword in battle. And that's why a lot of you jakes that go up in the armies, Esau's armies, you don't come back, man. But you'll come back in the body bag. You don't come back alive. You'll come back in the body bag. That was happening back then, and it's happening now, man. So you got to be a goddamn fool to join Esau's military, man. Because you ain't going to come back. In this day and age, you ain't going to come back, man. You're going to die over there on the shores in the sands of the Middle East, man. It says, verse 22, let a cry be heard from their houses when thou shalt bring a troop suddenly upon them. Door-to-door searches. Them troops are Esau's military. Whether they're Gurkha troops, UN troops, or National Guards going door to door. Snatching you out of your house, throwing you headfirst into a van to cart you off to different detention centers and concentration camps, man. Separating you from your family and your children. It says, let a cry be heard from their houses when thou shalt bring a troop suddenly upon them. For they have dig a pit to take me and hit snares for my feet. Verse 23, yet, Lord, thou knowest all their counsel against me to slay me. Forgive not their iniquity, neither blot out their sins from thy sight, but let there be but let them be overthrown before thee. Deal thus with them in the time of thy anger. And that's the very same prayer that we hope that the Most High unleash upon the 2/3 you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans that devise all kind of wicked devices against us, that demonize our name, that accuse us of being things that we are not, such as pedophiles, rapists, child molesters. These are the things that we have been caught throughout the years, man. Why? Because we bring out the 100% truth. We give you the bitter and the sweet of the scriptures. And the 2/3 can't handle the truth. So therefore, they get on their comic board, they get on their keyboards, drinking their coffee, talking shit, and you're going to pay for it. That same prayer, the same plot, and the same prayer is to this very day, man. The plot that the 2/3 you Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans plotted against Jeremiah, you're plotting the very same plot against the men of the Lord in this day and age. And we are the same prophets coming back in the reincarnation, if you can receive that. And you are this very same people that's coming back, you scoffers and scorners, and the men that hated the word of the Most High back then, you're the very same souls coming back right now in the reincarnation, if you can understand that. And that's why you're plotting devices against the sons of Israel, man. Starting from the apostles and the elders and the teachers and the prophets of Great Millstone. So I believe the point has been made. The plot and the prayer. And that's what I'm going to call this lesson. A plot and a prayer. The plot that you wicked ass 2/3 are devising against the men of Israel, starting with the apostles, and the prayer that we are praying to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah to come upon your wicked ass people, man. Shalom.